Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 76th episode of PandTha Talks.
Hello.
Pretty much as normal. We're your weird hosts, I guess.
Speak for yourself, sir.
We've got the panda that destroys video games,
Very fun. Very fun.
and then we've got the technician with no ambition. So
The technician that then fixes them.
yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that's pretty much as summed up. 76 episodes in, and we have an interesting one this week. That isn't fully game related, which I'm sure we'll all be a bit baffled by.
You have piqued my interest, sir. I'll give you that much.
I sent Will a screenshot of something earlier in the week when this happened. The reason was, as I said at the beginning, I'm a technician, an IT technician, so I actually work in the industry. Now, due to this, a massive outage occurred recently. Everyone's probably heard about it because it affected trains, planes, everything. The banking services, bloody supermarkets, whatever you can think of was affected.
And yet my balance didn't increase with multiple zeros.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Couldn't
Or
help
maybe
it
it did, and I still just have zero on my account. Who knows?
Well, 0 times 0 is still 0.
That's kind of what I was getting at. It was meant to be a joke. Ha 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 ha. Ho 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 ho.
Fuck you. So we're going to be discussing a lot about the CrowdStrike server issue regarding that. After that, we will be moving on to how 200 plus workers at Bethesda Game Studios have decided to unionize, and Microsoft has recognized it.
Oh no.
Moving from there, we will be discussing how gaming revenue will reach $300 billion by 2027, according to analysts. And yet, we're still seeing layoffs. After that, we'll
Makes sense, right?
I know, right? After that, we'll be looking at some articles that have come from people working in the tech industry. The first one's by Tech Radar, Alyssa James, I believe it is. How they've demoed plenty of games on Apple devices and why they believe that the future of Mac gaming has never been brighter, which I'm interested by because I'm not a big fan of Macs, as most people know.
I don't think many people are, man.
Yeah. And then we got the final piece that we'll be discussing today, which is a story by NVIDIA, apparently. After testing 2 gaming PCs, Prime Day has me ready to make the jump from console. It's technically by NVIDIA, but also by Metro, so we'll cover that as we go.
Be interesting.
But with all that said, let's actually get into the interesting topics.
Yes, please.
Well, that's not right.
We're off to a swimming start as always.
Sorry, for some reason it wasn't capturing my display. I think it must be because I had all my displays out since last week. We're building a new PC. Here we go. So, you can see this already, Will, can't you? Because I got all that sorted ahead of time.
Provided that what I'm looking at is what I'm supposed to be seeing, then I'm going to go with yes. But we'll
finally deleting part of System 32 can actually fix your computer?
Unlimited possibilities.
Okay, yeah, cool. Right, so first off, I'm going to explain what happened to do with CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike is a cybersecurity company that manage Microsoft and a bunch of other companies. Now, this cybersecurity company primarily works... I'm not 100% on all the details, so I can only give you what I know for certain. But we know at this point they work with Windows, and primarily it's typically on server devices. So to any device that will connect directly to a server through their Windows machine or on the Microsoft Windows operating system suddenly got a new issue. Now, there's a couple theories as to what actually happened, but we have found that there was a bit of C++ code that was staring at a very vital, basically pointing directly to a very vital piece of your Windows operating system. Windows doesn't like that. So what Windows does is, it notices this, goes, okay, you're trying to access something you shouldn't, this is a violation of our security system kick in, and blue screen of death. Next time you try and boot up your PC, it will do the exact same thing, repeatedly.
Lovely.
Now, this has hit global. There were airports affected. There were trains, planes, as I said, banking. The NHS in the UK was affected quite heavily, and it's still supposed to be affected, even moving into next week. Supermarkets,
Are you telling me we
banks.
almost had an apocalypse, but it didn't happen?
Effectively, yeah.
Oh, so
Now,
sad, man. So close.
thankfully, they did fix the issue, fix the problem pretty quickly. But there's a slight problem. It's not completely fixed. Because the only way to bypass this blue screen of death, you can't just patch it with an automated patch, because these PCs can't be booted up anymore, because they'll just blue screen again. Now, Microsoft has said you will have to do a restart of about 15 times, roughly. Or there's another way that has been found where basically you boot it in safe mode, which will bypass the blue screen of death. Once booted in safe mode, you delete an individual file from Windows in System32, which is what this article's about. And once that file's deleted and you reboot as normal, the issue will be resolved, as long as you don't update it to that update that just went out that caused this. So someone's definitely got fired for this. That's the honest truth. But what surprised me so much, and the reason I wanted to bring this up this week, as I said, this affected companies globally. Yeah, I've not seen any issues really for game servers.
I mean, I've not seen anything happen of this. I know this is only the first time hearing about it because I didn't read into it much whenever you sent it to me, but I've not heard anything like it.
That was the thing. I expected to hear a lot more. Now, in the small town I live in, there wasn't much over here, to be honest with you. But as I said, the company I work for was impacted. Many companies out there have been impacted by this. I cannot obviously disclose how much it was impacted. That would be a breach of privacy and everything else, so I'm not even touching that with a 10-foot barge pole, because I don't want to be sued or fired.
An 11-foot one.
No, thank you. So, yeah, honestly, it was a mess that morning. Waking up and just basically seeing everything had gone to shit was horrific. What did make me laugh, though, was some very ill-informed American. And I'll tell you this little tidbit of information because it was quite funny to me. CrowdStrike is a company based in America, Texas to be precise. And they work, as I said, with Microsoft, who is also a company primarily based out of America. So, one American, in his infinite wisdom, in one of the IT support groups that I'm in, said in a comment to the post regarding this issue and how to fix it, as Americans, we should have a separate internet cut off from the rest of the world. That way, when they have issues that they've caused, we don't have to suffer.
Right then.
Yeah, infinite wisdom.
Because that would totally work.
He basically just wants an American version of the North Korean private internet. At which point they wouldn't get much, because...
Look how fun that place is.
The thing is, if that ever happened, I think most of the major corporations based in America would move. Because they wouldn't have as much, freedom as what they currently have. And for a country that's based on the ideals of land of the free, cutting the internet off doesn't seem like a good plan. Anyways, let's go through this article because it might bring back some parts of what we actually went through this day, so I can explain a bit more. So, A CrowdStrike update that caused thousands of computers and servers to infinitely reset and blue screen of death finally has a solution, and it involves deleting part of System 32. Yes, really. Deleting one file in Windows' basic system directory apparently solves the problem that caused that some have called the biggest server outage in history, which is true, it was actually globally hailed as such. And you can see why, considering the effects are still visible. According to TechRadar, the fix to the issue involves booting Windows in safe mode, navigating to CrowdStrike directory in System 32, deleting one file that matches a certain alphanumeric code. Meanwhile, Microsoft officially advises customers to restore from a backup if possible, and if not, attach a disk to a virtual machine for an offline repair. This was another way to do it. In online circles, deleting System 32 has been known, if ancient, is a well-known, if ancient, prank that trolls pulled on unsuspecting Windows users. Yeah, we've all done it before. It's like Alt F. How do I play this game? What are the controls? Alt F4 to shoot. That took out a lot of people in the early days of Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I've definitely had some. I've had some victims of my own.
It's good fun though.
Yeah.
It involves telling the user that deleting the folder will make their computer go faster, often through a specific command line. Of course, in reality, deleting this folder would make their computer not work correctly. By not work correctly, you mean it would just brick it. They'd need to get a pen drive and USB and just bloody rebuild the device. Though it's not clear how many machines were affected by the July 19th outage. So yeah, 2 days ago now. So this happened on Friday. Now, considering most people in industry have a thing called Read Only Friday, which is basically you don't make drastic changes to a system or push major updates on a Friday. Because if you do, it could mess up your weekend severely.
Yeah.
So, well done to them. It had a major impact on airlines, hospitals, banks, and tech companies. Per NYT, it even reportedly caused payment processors like Visa to suffer major downtime. Hundreds of flights were grounded as a result, and emergency 911 lines in multiple US states were also affected. Logistics companies like UPS and FedEx also experienced disruptions due to the snafu. Initially feared to be a security incident or coordinated cyber attack, CrowdStrike CEO George Kurtz went to social media to quell those concerns. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, he said that the issue has been identified and a fix has been deployed, though it'll likely take some time for the affected systems to recover. Now, there was a bit more information I'd like to add to this. So, with that happening, obviously it hits some of us first because the US were asleep as this was going on. Now, the trading markets didn't open till just over halfway through a UK day. So we saw live as the company's valuation dropped. I think it was like $12.1 billion in valuation, which was I think 19% drop in share price.
God damn.
So as I said a few times, I would not be too shocked if they ended up going under after this incident, but as some others have said, and correctly so in my opinion, this will be forgotten in 2 weeks' time, to be brutally honest with you. It's just how
these days.
Yeah, it's just how the IT industry goes as well. It's the way it goes. But I just thought it would be an interesting topic to bring up because it's an actual major issue. Wait, what? Apple approves the App Store's first PC emulator. I never thought I'd see the day. Damn. Fair play, Apple.
Yeah, you probably just pay them a shit ton of money because that's how Apple works.
Oh, guaranteed. I'm loving this no advertisements. Eurogamer, you've done... Oh, never mind. I was proud of
It's
you
just
for a
still better than the
smidge.
rest.
Yeah. To be fair, I can deal with 2, 3,
Oh, never
4.
mind. There's a fourth one.
Yeah, 4 oh, actually, it's that same advert there. Okay, it's not even an ad anymore, it's an actual clip. So yeah, 3 adverts in the entire thing. I can kind of cope with that. So, 200 plus workers at Bethesda game studios have unionized. 241 precisely. Bethesda Game Studios union recognition with communication workers at America marks the first wall-to-wall union at Microsoft. We, a majority of developers at Bethesda Game Studio Dallas, Rockville, and Austin, are ecstatic to announce at the formation of our union with CWA Union. Together as one BGS USA, we advocate for betterment of every developer at BGS, setting the new standard for our industry. I'm not being funny, but if you want to look at who have the better standard for your industry, look at Valve. We covered this last week, and they just stepped above and beyond.
Yeah,
I
and they
actually,
still do, and probably always will.
yeah, I do want to go back to that at some point, so I'll put a pin in that for now. As a democratic organization, we seek to empower the collective wishes of our studio workers, having a safe, sustainable, and equitable work environment for all. Having a proper seat at the discussion table allows us to turn those wishes into a reality. Joining in solidarity with our fellow members at ZeniMax workers, 1BGS_NTL, and all of CWA Union, we push for increased job security, compensation transparency, and flexibility to continue creating the games we love. That's a fair argument. I can understand why, to be honest. Those are fair requests. Increased job security they deserve, especially after what we've covered this last year and a half.
Yeah.
Compensation transparency, that's definitely required, especially considering we've seen with EA, for example, taking stupid bonuses. Flexibility to continue creating games they love. Why not? The people who know relatively well what gamers want are the game creators, not the higher ups who just go, well, this will make us money.
Yeah.
The statement concludes with, as we work towards our first contract with Microsoft, we hope you'll join us in voicing your support as we serve as an example for all into the next era of game development. Microsoft has reportedly recognized the union, and Bethesda is just one of the several studios that have moved to unionize in response to the more than 15,000 job cuts and studio closures in the last 18 months. Back in April, Just Cause developer Avalanche confirmed plans to enter collective bargaining agreement with Swedish unions. That's just insanity. The fact that it's still possibly going on, and 15,000 is the number at the moment, that's stupidly high.
Yeah, and the problem with that is that number keeps climbing.
Exactly. Way too true. It's
And the fact that we discussed the higher ups taking massive bonuses, whilst hundreds and in some cases thousands of employees are losing their jobs.
it just doesn't make sense. How can you justify giving a CEO as much as they're giving, like the EA CEO, we'll use an example, and the
And
old Activision?
choosing to ruin thousands of people's lives.
Yeah, they're removing people's jobs who are actually required in the industry to make the games that make the money, but they're giving the CEO a fucking ton more in bonuses for getting rid of the people that actually make the fucking thing. It just doesn't make sense to me.
No.
Get rid of the fucking CEO instead. He does nothing in comparison. It's just dumb.
They definitely don't deserve what they're getting.
Not in this instance at all. There are some CEOs who actually go out and handle a lot more than
No,
what
it's
we've seen
it's not to
with
say that
EA.
that all of them are the same.
No, exactly.
And we've definitely had cases where higher ups have been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, Helldivers 2's CEO, while he was CEO, is a
Yeah,
prime example of that, in my
what he
opinion.
did was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he's now the COO, stepped down from the CEO position because he wanted to continue with his communication with the fans. And I
Yeah,
don't blame him. End of the day, you've done what's best for your consumers.
yep.
Fair play to you.
He's doing
But
it in interest of the consumers as well,
exactly.
not himself.
So I definitely think looking more at the industry through that gaze is a lot better, but it's as and when we actually are able to. Yeah, I said I'd like to go back to the Valve thing. So as we were discussing Valve last week, and a couple of weeks before this, we were discussing a lawsuit, if you remember, Will.
Yeah,
Well, I've
that they got sucked into.
yeah, we were discussing how this lawsuit to get you like £40 back, whatever that crap were. You remember the one?
Yeah.
Well, I've been watching some stuff and reading about, and there's this guy you've sent me some of his stuff as well. Pirate Software, if you remember him.
No.
Guy, long hair, usually writing on
Oh,
Microsoft Paint.
the old Blizzard employee.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, I didn't
He
know that
hates
was his
being
name.
referred to as that because he's actually a cybersecurity expert, as I learned recently.
I mean, that's fair. The only reason that's what I refer to is because it's the only thing I know him by.
Yeah. Well, I was watching some of his stuff, and basically, he was discussing the reason Steam's been sued, and he made some fair points that I'd like to just quickly cover, which was like they're claiming it's because Steam has got a monopolization on a monopoly on the market. The reason Steam does so well, as rightly said, is because they do things better than the rest, and not just
Literally.
yeah. The thing is though, it's because they put their consumer first. They're the people they care about. Because at
Like the
the end of the
majority
day,
of people, when you ask them what storefront they prefer using, you just instantly think of Steam. Because when you
yeah,
think of the other engines like Epic Games and fucking EA and all that, they're just horrible to use, man. They're so annoying to navigate. They make no sense on accessing some of the parts of it. Like anytime I tried to play Siege, whenever I used to play Siege, the friends tab was just so awkward to get
oh,
to,
it's
and then to
horrific.
find your friend and to add a friend as well just never worked half the time. It was so annoying.
It,
When you think of Steam, you right click and hit add friend, and that's it. You're done.
yeah, it's really basic. It's simplistic to use. It's user friendly. It's
Yeah,
consumer friendly with all the practices that they have, and even
navigating
as
it is very easy too.
yeah, and even as he proceeded to go and explain, it's actually more developer friendly. People complain obviously about the 30% cut for developers. So, like, if they create a game, they get sales on Steam, they take a 30% cut. But as he stated quite clearly, that's on Steam. That doesn't take into consideration. If I go to Steam and go, I want X amount of copies from you. Okay, you can have these codes. Basically, it's just CD codes, as you know about as well as I do. You can have them. Give me the amount that you'd need. Okay, let's say I want 5,000 of them. Okay. Now, you've got to sell them at least at the same price you're going to sell them on Steam. That's fine. And you can sell them on, for example, itch.io or Humble Bundle or whatever else. You don't get that 30% tax on the other platform from Steam. But the users and purchasers of that game will get all the features that Steam offer, such as their downloading, their easy patching, any updates, any repairs. That's all covered. One thing that he did say, and I do agree with, give developers more customization option on Steam. So, for example, on Humble Bundle and itch.io being a prime example, you can like decorate, like down the sides as well,
Yeah.
which would look a lot nicer than let's just go, for example, to Warframe. If I go into the store page, yeah, it's got the consistency, but it goes very bland very quickly. So he'd like more customization. And as he said, if you want to outdo Steam, do what Steam does, but better. Customization, stuff like that. That's the only way you're going to win.
At the same time, though, when you go to a storefront on Steam, you do have just the basicness of it. Like
Oh
you're
yeah,
not spammed on
overwhelmed.
every inch of the page.
Mm.
It's all in the center. There's nothing on the sides. You're feeling like you're scrolling down a web page with thousands of ads forcing on you. You're just looking
Yeah.
front and center and checking it out.
This is because this is obviously the guy that was on about it. This is how he likes his, because he's got like this going down on each side. And yeah, it does look quite nice. And having that sort of customization, yeah, I can see why you'd want it. Because if you compare the two, one definitely looks better than the other.
Yeah.
But I can see what he's on about. Gotta give it to him. He is very very knowledgeable on this sort of stuff. I've found myself watching his stuff occasionally when it pops up. So, gaming revenue will reach $300 billion by 2027, according to analysts. As current young audiences grow older, they're expected to spend more money on gaming. Are they really? Who'd have guessed it?
Just sounds like inflation to me.
Everyone knows gaming makes a lot of money, like a seriously insane amount of money. You don't spend $70 billion on the people who make Call of Duty and Candy Crush without knowing you're going to get that money back down the line. If that was true, what's with all the layoffs? If you were looking to put a figure on how much global gaming revenue we're going to get through, though, analysts at Bain and Company believe we'll see gaming revenue rise by 9% between now and 2027. That'll mean a jump to $307 billion. More money is seen to be in the gaming industry than ever before, with landmark deals like the Activision Blizzard acquisition and gaming influencers making millions upon millions just for broadcasting themselves in games. Oh, that was easy. That was very quick.
Yeah.
I expected a bit more.
I mean, I completely agree with your statement, though. What's with all the layoffs if this is the absurd number coming out of gaming?
It just doesn't add up. It really does not add up. You can't claim, yes, we're going to be seeing like a bloody 9% increase in revenue. So we're going up to 307 billion. How can we make jumps like that while laying so many people off? Or is it the bloody layoffs that are causing the bloody rise for the revenue for the higher ups and the shareholders?
Yeah, can believe that.
That's my genuine concern. I can't justify that sort of thing anymore. And it's a bit like, you know how AAA devs get really annoyed at piracy in video games? A lot of indie developers don't actually mind it. It was like a commonly posted thing recently. How indie game developers were saying, look, if you don't have the money and you pirate it, that's fine. Just make sure if you enjoy yourself, tell your friends about it. Tell more people, because word of mouth is how indie games grow. And if you enjoyed it enough that down the line you want to buy it, do it. It's like logic. It's actually been applied. So I guess I can't hold it off anymore, can I? I've got to go over Max. I know, right?
I don't know, man. Anything Apple is just gross.
I agree. Completely agree. Which
Like you just it's just so much money for like nothing.
it is. And anything that they have, typically other
Look at
devices
it.
have had years before.
Look at it. They look gross as fuck.
Yeah, they're
What
horrific.
is that? Why do you have a controller and no mouse? I'm so confused.
Is that a giant trackpad? No.
Oh
No, they
no.
wouldn't. That they wouldn't.
Oh.
Would they?
It's like they're trying to make themselves look bad. That's a great
Uh,
screenshot. That's a great
was that
screenshot.
taken from an Apple phone by chance?
Be willing to bet it.
You know what? We'll actually try this article then.
No.
I'm sorry, Will, but we need to.
Why do you torture
As
me
a,
so?
I torture myself as well, don't worry. As a dedicated Windows PC gamer who owns some of the best gaming PCs out there, plural?
Lucky bastard.
I know, right? I've
Well,
extensively.
I'll lend us one.
Yeah, lend us a couple, mate. Come on,
Lend
we've
us one
clearly got
permanently,
spare.
would you?
Holding holding up a gun to him. Just come on, lend us one permanently, please. I swear this is a request and not like robbery.
No. Just a request, not a demand.
Yeah. I've extensively covered Apple's recent attempts at finally capitalizing on its excellent M series silicon and expanding its gaming platform for the best MacBooks and Macs. I feel disgusted saying that.
How do we add
Progress.
sarcasm to text? He's not got any quotation marks in there. I think this has become one of his favorite pastimes.
Oh dear God, how have you? I don't like this. That's awful.
One day Roy will meet his maker.
Yeah, today's not that day. This is horrific, though. Who write? Oh no, I can't even touch that. That's awful.
Moving swiftly onwards before this gets out of hand.
Yeah. Progress seemed slower than molasses for a while, with some solid ports announced and launched that proved what Apple hardware could do, as well as a partnership with game developer and director Hideo Kojima. Unfortunately, there was not much long-term substantial progression, which worried me quite a bit. Why did it worry you?
I'm not worried.
No, neither am I. Then WWDC 2024 came, and with it, some major announcements from Apple that turned around the increasingly bleak outlook almost immediately. Just before the event, Apple now revealed that Assassin's Creed Shadows would be coming to Mac alongside PC and consoles on November 15th, 2024. That's a shock. I've got to admit, that is a shock.
Let's see, spend like 500 to a grand to be able to run this new Assassin's Creed on Windows PC, or spend 5 grand to be able to run it on a Mac.
That's my question. How much is it gonna be for this?
Which would you prefer?
Yeah. Uh, Wait, it was also announced that Shadows would come to iPad. Okay.
What is it? What is
Okay,
it?
I'm
8
taking
pixel
this serious
display?
now. Since then, there's been a barrage of other news involving Mac gaming, including other titles coming out for Apple platforms, developer toolkits that make game porting and development even easier, and more. But what really cemented things for me was my personal experience at the recent gaming showcase, which was nothing short of incredible. We'll see about that. Well, let's go through this. Apple Gaming Thoughts and Hands On. I was able to sample several games across the iPad, iPhone, and Mac devices, both hands on and live demonstrations. These
One of the
included.
last iPhones to come out, like overheat and blow up in people's hands.
I think that was like 3 iPhones ago.
I don't even know what one we're on, mate.
15, I think.
I thought there was something with the 15.
I've got no
Okay.
idea.
I don't particularly keep up with them.
Neither do I. These included titles like Control, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Zenless Zone Zero, whatever the fuck that is, Diablo Immortal, Valheim, Frostpunk 2, and Palworld. What impressed me even more was how well these games ran between these devices, with even an iPhone being able to handle AAA titles. Can I ask one question? Was this by any chance utilizing the system that Xbox Game Pass created for Game Cloud? Mac is better than Windows PC. Fuck off. It's really not. As an IT technician, I will say with
I don't
complete
like what's with
confidence,
the
no.
picture, man. What is with the picture? What the fuck is this supposed to prove when you
Uh,
can't read it?
Good question. I don't know. Zenless Zone Zero. Zenless Zone Zero was one of the most impressive demos of that day. It
No,
ran
I need
on.
to Google this and see what this is.
Yeah, I love how they're using this game as an example, but I have no fucking idea what
Oh
the game is.
God,
Oh, it's an anime game.
man, it's really it's not got great rating.
Um, it's a game that runs on your phone as well. Because it doesn't just run on Apple, it runs on Android too.
Bro, it looks horrendous.
Yeah, it's a mobile game, mate, that they brought out to console and
Yeah.
PC.
I've
That's.
seen two
Mm.
screenshots of like your camera angle when you're in the game. Everything else is just art.
You see, what annoys me about this article now, and this, taking consideration, is from Tech Radar. The game they're absolutely like talking about with such happiness is a mobile
I've
port.
never heard of.
Yeah.
Bro, everything's so
Okay.
like blocky looking.
Let's just move on. There might be something interesting after this.
Sure.
Fingers crossed. It
Yeah,
ran
totally, man. I believe you.
an absolutely buttery smooth frame rate of 120
Mm.
FPS on an iPad
You
M4.
could probably melt your butter on it too with how much it overheats.
Oh, here we go. Similarly, Assassin's Creed Mirage played nearly as well on the iPad M4 as on the iMac. Even testing it out on the iPhone proved to be quite impressive, as it ran shockingly well at high settings, though not without some stuttering.
So for
Why?
Zenless Zone Zero, they said it ran on 120 frames, but never stated what it was running, like
For
graphically
Mirage.
wise. And then it's saying for the other games that it ran well at high settings, but never actually stated how well it's running.
Yeah, this is how they kind of hold back on that stuff.
And I'll be honest, if a game stutters, something's not right.
Yeah, but that is on the iPhone, I believe. Yeah. Valheim, though not immediately demanding graphic wise, is a massive open world title that's procedurally generated and therefore requires a solid desktop setup to run smoothly, with the iMac, which the iMac easily handled.
Yeah, let's check the requirements here real fast.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. Ah, here we go.
You need a 950.
So you need 950 or a
How
HD
old? How old is
7970,
a night? Hang on, hang on.
8 gig of RAM, or 2.6 gigahertz quad core or similar. And the maximum you'll need is a 1060. That's the
The
recommended.
the 950 is now nine is almost 9 years old, and the
Hmm.
recommended is a 1060.
Yeah,
That is 8 years old, just over.
and the
And
processor is
we're
an
that's
i5 3
GTX
gigahertz.
cards. We're running RTX cards.
Yeah.
This is like a whole generation.
Oh, exactly.
Fuck.
16 gig of RAM, which I know Macs typically do run 32 gigs, so fair enough there. Processor i5 3 gigahertz.
Not much.
Yeah,
You really don't need much.
it's not solid desktop setup to run smoothly at all,
No.
which the iMac handled easily. No shit. Palworld, a similar game, also ran with no visible hiccups or stuttering. You didn't say it ran smoothly.
Hmm.
You've made it clear to
Also,
state
not
that.
still not stating like what they're running it on. Like, for all we know, this could be the absolute lowest of the low settings, where like the likes of LED distance, where objects aren't rendering until they're like 10 feet away,
Yeah.
which is
Now,
like one of the most annoying things to have in an open world game.
let's just quickly check Palworld's stats. Oh dear God. These stats are actually a lot lower than I thought they'd be. So the minimum requirements are quite low, I've got to say. The recommended requirements actually touch me some parts.
Excuse me.
i9-9900K.
Hey, what?
Fuck off. This is actually my CPU. That's my memory. I have above that now. I used to have that exact GPU. Their recommended stats used to be my exact specification for my system, which is a bit concerning. So, no visible hiccups or stuttering, but it ran well. Okay,
Diablo
so
Immortal, was that not the fucking mobile game?
I think that was the pay to win shit
Yeah,
that
the
they
absolute
announced.
horrendous crap that
Wasn't
they
it a
decided to
mobile game?
release. That's what I said. Wasn't it a mobile game?
Okay.
It was
Yes, it was.
it was literally just a cash grab.
Frostpunk 2. That's not out yet, so we don't have exact information on that. But Frostpunk was basically it was a city builder. It wasn't very graphically enhanced. You didn't really have any issues with that. Two equally massive games, though in different genres. They're not really large games, to be honest. Ran on both Mac and iPad with no difficulties. In fact, I often forgot I was gaming on an iPad as the experience was so smooth. No
You
shit.
really you forgot that you're holding
You're
the
playing.
screen.
You're playing a city builder and a mobile game. Okay. Okay. This really isn't helping its cause, I must admit. So,
See, the
how
main
Apple.
thing I want to know is the standard like average build price cost. To
So
get
this
like
is
the
the
same specs in a
M4s.
Windows PC is just like you can get things so cheap now. Like we were talking earlier about a 3050 being only what was it, 140 quid?
Yeah.
Whereas like I would see this.
Now, obviously, we don't actually have full information on it, so let's just
I
see.
want like an estimate.
Yeah, that's what I'm wanting. If I can get an estimate on price, I'll be happy. Ah,
1300.
1,300. The M1 and the M3 iMac models are released at 1,300 base. Since we're not expecting any physical design changes in the M4 iMac, the base pricing will likely be about the same. So you're paying $1,300 for
Roy. You're not even
mobile
getting
games.
32 gig of RAM. You're getting 16 at most in the M4.
What?
And it's not even telling you like the clock of anything. Like you don't see the memory clock or the VRAM, the GPU. You don't see the core
You get a
clock of the
core on the
CPU.
GPU.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm looking at this point.
Okay, so yeah, we've
Hey,
kind
you
of
get 16 trillion operations per second if that
yeah,
helps with your
whatever
8 gig of
blows.
RAM.
So Apple is apparently leading the pack in its tool set, kits and features.
What's
How so?
what about like if you were to do anything with the Mac yourself? That's not really an option, is it?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, Macs aren't desktops. Are they?
Yes, they are.
They are.
Yeah,
But
they
like
run on the
in
macOS operating
comparison,
system.
in comparisons to like say your or my desktop, like how we can literally just pop it open and swap things out and upgrade things
Ah,
depending
they're
on
not really allowed
compatibility.
to do that. No.
Yeah. So you're literally only getting 16 gig of RAM, which ain't gonna run shit.
Yeah, you can add more RAM and stuff, but you've got to buy direct from Apple, to my knowledge.
Yeah, and how much
I'm not
extra is
quite
that gonna
sure.
cost you?
It's pricey.
No
Um,
shit, it's Apple.
yeah. What I can say is it is also possible to put the macOS operating system on to your PC build.
I
It
know.
can be
Didn't
done.
didn't we cover once where some guy
Yeah,
had like all OSs in one?
yeah, Mutaha, some ordinary gamer. I respect him for that. So I'm not really gonna go into this too much. What's this? Oh, wait, there is some more information here. Well, Apple also introduced plenty of gaming tools and features to enhance the overall experience while
I
watching a
think they
live
misspelled
demonstration.
I think they misspelled expense.
Fucking true. Uh, a live demonstration of Control Ultimate Edition, and later playing it myself, I saw how well it ran on a Mac device and how well it performed using the Dev Toolkit crossover, which allows for Windows games not yet playable on Mac devices to be played. While not perfect, the gameplay was smooth and almost completely stutter free, maintaining near 60 FPS even during more frantic combat
So
sessions.
you're paying
See,
$1,300 for a Mac that runs worse than a console.
effectively.
the
Um, to be fair, that's not
diskless
really fair to the
consoles.
Mac. Some of the consoles don't even run that well.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
they're like $500.
the driveless consoles are like 350 to 500 right now,
To
no?
be fair, yeah, I could literally buy two disc versions of either console and one discless version of one digital version of a console for the price of a Mac.
Yeah. And then you could just have like some crazy LAN parties instead of sitting crying in a corner because you just wasted $1,300 on a Mac.
Yeah, pretty much.
And like that's just getting the device. You have to pay for absolutely everything when it comes to Apple. So
Yeah,
like
they don't like a lot of third parties on developing, so they keep a lot of that in house. They're trying to get more developers to go across, but there's way too much with Mac that it's like you either work for us or you don't. And
it
that's what causes a lot of the problems.
just blows me away that they are still stuff. Like how they still sustain themselves
I've got no idea, honestly.
and why people actually buy their stuff.
Because of the logo, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
That's it.
literally, it's just the brand. People think
Yeah,
it's amazing when it's genuinely not.
I'm fully with you. So the game Porting Toolkit 2 is another development toolkit for porting titles to Mac, letting developers bring their titles to the platform much easier. This sequel to the original version streamlines development for Mac even more and makes it easier to bring existing Mac games to iPhone and iPad. I think that is a good idea, realistically speaking, because the reason many game developers don't bother with Mac is because it's like learning a brand new fucking system because Mac don't like Windows and they don't want to make it easier to transfer. But where's 95% of the gaming market?
I
You know what I
wonder.
mean? There's also a game mode out already for Mac devices and coming to iPad and iPhone in fall 24. This mode helps minimize background activity during a gaming session, providing even smoother frame rates and lower latency. You know what? Community manager, you'll be watching this probably tonight, today, I don't know. At some point in the future, you will gain access to these features. When that day comes, because I know you're an avid iPhone user, do me a favor, test these features. Please. I have a job for you. Personalized spatial audio tool that significantly reduces audio latency and enhances audio quality when voice chat is active by increasing your game audio to 16. Audio latency and wait, if they're dealing with latency, that definitely sounds like it's to do with the cloud functions I were on about earlier.
Bro.
Game file sizes will require significantly less storage space, and players can choose to switch to alternative disks for installations. The heck is this?
This
I,
is why I don't even bother looking into Apple, bro.
I see, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ignore the Mac bit there, but pairing these with the porting toolkit 2 lets devs develop a single version of the game for all three platforms, unlike consoles and PCs, which require multiple versions. This has already been used to great effect with Death Stranding, Director's Cut, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and the recently launched Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Okay, but you realize consoles and PC have nothing to do with each other. And each console is built differently, and the PC is built differently. Whereas this is all under one fucking subsidiary and it's all one device pushed through everything. So, of course, you've got to develop individual fucking versions. Get annoyed now. I don't see any way that this replaces anything to do with PC or even comes close. Yes, it makes
What
the people who already buy Macs
what kills me
have some
most
positive.
is like we've actually not been given any specifications on the system itself or how well it runs things. We've been given little tease bits here and there, but it's not actually telling us like what it's running and how well it's actually running it.
Yeah, there's been very little in regards to specs. I mean, there's this photo, but
Yeah, good luck reading that, man.
I mean,
Uh,
47.82 FPS,
that's wonderful. Yeah.
38.95, and 29.35. Max 56 point something. And there's definitely a screen tear down there.
Yeah, the frames actually seem like where the frames are recorded is higher than the graph itself.
Yeah,
There's like a line going above. I don't know, man.
it's not consistent.
Nothing is. What's
Well,
even going on
true,
in the
but
background? Is
still.
that just a person floating?
I think so. It's controlled, so it doesn't shock me too much. But 47.82 FPS for control.
It's nothing but a blur in the
Wait,
background.
these are the max, the low, the low, max, and average. If that's lowest, whoo, 5.54 FPS. That'd be bad.
I mean, that's just it stuttering and freezing, is what that is.
Oh, definitely. But
If it's dropping to 5 frames.
that's not good at all. Because that
No,
means it could happen at
nothing about
any given
Mac
moment.
is.
Oh, too true. You know what? Shall we read something that's hopefully going to be a bit better for us? A bit
No,
more cheerful.
please.
After testing two gaming PCs, Prime Day has me ready to make the jump from console. Yes, join us, brother. Tech
I go
journalist.
straight to talking about 40 series. Yep.
Okay, this will be interesting. Okay, you've got us intrigued now. Tech journalist Rob, whatever, explains, to be honest, I've always been slightly scared of desktop gaming PCs. The custom built racing cars of the gaming world. I like that. While the idea of building my own has been daunting to me, I've always been excited about the raw power and potential of PC, which is hand built to include the latest and greatest graphics cards and chips, not to mention racks of silicon
Illuminated.
illuminated by multiple colored LEDs. I mean, who doesn't? Come on. This is why CyberPower's PC's pre-built systems had me at hello. I'm not a big fan of pre-builts, but they do what people need. They offer the unbridled gaming power of a desktop PC and come armed with the latest NVIDIA RTX 40 series GPU, built to deliver great blah 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 blah, and ray tracing. Yeah, we know all this crap. Just come on. All of this comes with the added benefit of being ready to go out the box. Best of all, there's a whole range of sale of them on Prime Day right now. Here we go. Let's go back to something a bit normal. PC gaming has always felt like the connoisseur's choice compared to console gaming. The chatter online about PC gaming can make the whole idea of buying and maintaining your hardware seem like an incredibly complex undertaking. I often felt locked out of the unique benefits provided by gaming on an Nvidia card, just because it all seemed so confusing. But now, having played with two of CyberPowered PC systems, it's clear it couldn't be more different from what I'd feared. They ship pre-built, they plug into a monitor, and as easily as a games console plugs into a TV. It's very true. If you want out of box, literally just buy a pre-built. They will be ready for gaming pretty much instantly. They are not
And yet
difficult.
mine is a pre-built, but I've still like customized it and swapped out pieces to upgrade it
Oh yeah,
instead of like wasting a certain amount of money on another pre-built.
oh
So
definitely.
it's not like they're a bad option.
No, 100%. As long as it's not an Alienware, because typically their cases are an extreme struggle to upgrade. I got hands on with the Lux gaming PCs, a 4060 and 4070 build, both bringing their own strengths to the table, and outstanding PCs in their own right. With each kitted out with 32GB of RAM, a 1TB SSD, and 12th gen Intel CPUs, I could download and play all of my favourite games at my leisure with incredible graphical fidelity. Of course you can. There's nothing to argue with that. That's just how that goes. I mean, come on, you're top of the line at that point. Or almost. You just need a 4090 to complete the fucking sector. My other fear of hand building PC desktops centered around the price. Having hankered after a few gaming laptops, I know the price can very quickly add up to the point where you're forking out a sum for what could get you a small car. Listen, your first mistake was a gaming laptop.
Yeah.
They're always extremely pricey. They don't give you much for what you're paying, but you're paying for the portability. That's just how it goes.
But honestly,
But
like just the awkwardness of playing in different places though.
yeah, I know, right?
I trying to get a comfortable mouse spot and then the way your hand sits, because more often than not, you're gonna have your laptop on your lap, hence the
Oh
name.
yeah,
And the way your hand sits to like rest on WASD is just so uncomfortable, and that would give you carpal tunnel quicker than anything else.
oh fucking too true.
It's horrendous.
But the CyberPower PC Lux systems are actually very reasonable. The more powerful one I tested comes in at £1,509 in a special deal this Prime Day, and the second tested is a cheaper but still mighty unit armed with an NVIDIA 4068GB, an Intel i7, and a 32GB of RAM for £1,079. To be fair, if that's what it looked like, that's a pretty nice case. I quite like the look of that.
See, the only issue
GPU's quite small.
is whenever you're looking at pre-built on Amazon, the likes of Amazon,
Hmm.
you really need to read down the list because you will notice
Yeah.
very quickly there are one or two things that aren't quite what they seem.
Oh,
They
too true.
note two or three piece specs that are brilliant, but then you'll come to find that there's something missing or something is like very low tiered and bottlenecking the rest of it that's going to cost you a pricey penny to upgrade.
Yeah. Thankfully, though, CyberPower's a well-known brand who don't do that shit, which is the positive news. But yeah, typically, if you are looking at pre-built, do look out for what Will just said. It's a very
Just read.
dangerous game.
Just all you need to do is just read. Just
Yeah.
check that everything there is what it should be, and like it's all like
And
tiered
if
with
you
each other.
struggle with any of that, just go to PC part picker. Load it up, put the components in the build list, and it will tell you at the bottom if there is any problems with that build.
Wonderful
You
website, truly.
honestly, it was one of the first things I ever taught Will.
That's literally how I learned what like I could put in my PC.
Yeah, it's a great
It's
bit of kit.
so convenient.
It is. So, what is a CyberPower PC pre-built like to use? Taking it out of the box, I felt like I was about to get astride a Harley Davidson and head down the highway. I knew on paper what sort of
Guys,
performance this.
comparisons of things are horrendous.
I know, right? Those components might deliver, and couldn't wait to see it firsthand. It's an imposing device once it's out of the foam protective cloth and comes with all the RAM and the super powerful graphics card already in place. It's just a question of connecting it to a monitor, keyboard, and a mouse. Even when dealing with normal desktop apps, the system is impressively fast, fully ready to use in under 20 seconds. But as a gamer of long standing, I started in the days where you loaded games from cassette tapes. I wanted to put the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 Super 12GB through its paces. Cyberpunk 2077, a favourite of mine anyway, really took my breath away. Night City had never looked so good. My son wandered into my room and was absolutely awestruck looking at a street scene. Is that real? He said. It looks like a video.
I
Gaming
think
PCs,
that's
mate.
a little far-fetched.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, definitely
it,
looks good, but
yeah, it's.
don't get that carried away.
Oh, that's why. We were using DLSS 3.5, which is the AI ray tracing boost. I don't know if you saw the videos of that when it first got announced, but it
My
genuinely looks pretty
2060
good.
could do shit with it. It's just that.
Yeah, it's 40 series only, I think, on that one.
I know.
Cyberpunk is a great looking game, even on my Steam Deck, but the GeForce RTX cards bringing the neon night of the game to flickering life with effects that genuinely look like film or television, with surfaces gleaming and everything feeling real. Steam coming up from the vents and the street looks astonishing, as does light glittering on moisture on the ground. Stop. I don't want to have to explain all this. Underlying the insane performance is clever new DLSS 3.5, which uses AI to boost ray tracing, lighting effects, and reflections. This pairs perfectly with DLSS 3, exclusive to the 40 series, this is what I'm on about, which literally generates entirely new frames using AI, meaning better performance and looks in every supported game. Supporting this easy transition to PC gaming, the free-to-use NVIDIA app serves as a gaming control center. We use it as well. I don't know if you use the new NVIDIA app, do you, Will?
No, I've not looked into it.
I use it. Basically, it just keeps all my things all set together. I'll just pull mine up here. You can see kind of what games I've got, what applications. I use NVIDIA Broadcast for my mic, which makes my audio a bit better. Has all my NVIDIA apps in one place, and any drivers I need to update, which apparently I do, released a few days ago. I'm so disappointed in myself.
Hey, that's the one that you were literally telling me to check that I have, you piece of
Yeah.
shit.
What could I say? Do as I do, not as I say.
Hypocritical bastard.
When did I ever say I wasn't a hypocrite?
Fuck you.
But yeah, it's really easy to use. The update systems and everything, they're piss easy to go through. It allows you to optimize games with just the click of an update drivers. Update drivers capture memorable gaming moments with built-in photo mode and shadow play. Will uses the NVIDIA system to actually look at his GPU and CPU performance, and also if he wants to capture any footage, it's also a useful tool there.
Just convenient because this is there. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry about getting anything else, and it works perfectly fine. So it's like, why not?
Exactly.
I don't have to tab out at all to check my system's running okay. I can just hit a button and it brings up the graph to show temperature, speeds, usage.
Exactly that. It's a great little system. and it's a lot easier than what it used to be like. But yeah, it can enhance the gaming experience in all your favorite titles. That's true. As I said, on that little bit of kit, the Nvidia system, it can also pull all that through. I just realized I tried showing it earlier, and I actually didn't have my bloody display selected, which is dumb as shit. Here we go. Let me reopen that so now I can show it properly. So yeah, got all your apps, everything there, library, driver updates, and graphics updates, because you can actually edit each game individual, which helps you actually get the best performance out of your PC. Always useful. Anyways, moving back. In all honesty, I'd never realized there was a third path in PC gaming without the high prices of gaming laptops and without the days of assembly required for traditional hand-built PC desktop rigs. The side-powered PC pre-built systems really deliver, offering the thrill of getting to experience the power of the latest and greatest Nvidia silicon without having to toil away assembling it or having to fork out vast sums of money. To be honest, I think most people start out on pre-builds. Yeah, we always
I
say it,
I have to
don't
be
we?
honest. I know the likes of yourself definitely look down on pre-builds, and I can fully understand why, because the likes of mine, like how everything is crammed in, because it's a pretty small case, it's a bit tough to like maneuver around it. But to be completely honest, it's helped me a lot personally because I am very paranoid about breaking things and putting things in the wrong place, such like that, and not having exactly enough money to just casually rebuy another piece if I was to build one by hand. If I broke
Yeah,
something, it's a daunting task.
I can
So
completely
just
understand that.
having the pre-build and then just swapping out a few pieces, it's a much nicer experience.
That's, to be honest, what I was about to say about it. Like, as much as I do look down on pre-builds, and the reason is I've been there. At the end of the day, once you've been there and you've had a pre-built, but then you eventually learn how to bypass the pre-built stage and start building your own, because all you've done is you've swapped things out from your pre-built and gone, actually, I need a better graphics card. This motherboard will last me about 10 years anyways. Let me just throw in a new one there, throw in a new CPU that's better than the one I have just to get me through. And then eventually you'll hit a time where it's like, I feel ready to take this on as a task. I'm going to buy everything and I'm going to build it. And that's kind of the stage I hit eventually. And a lot of people will. But I do have to admit, as much as I do talk about how bad they can be, because, I mean, look at Will's case, prime example, it wasn't built fantastically. Um, he's taken it apart a few times and had to make some changes and sort things out. It's been good fun. Great to get calls
CPU
randomly.
cooler, fans and CPU coolers now on the other side because it blocked the RAM's first RAM slot.
Exactly.
That was fun. That was the first thing I ever had to change because the first thing I wanted to do with this PC was put more RAM in because it only had 16 gig.
Exactly that.
Uh,
But that's the thing. I do think there is a place still for this. It will teach a lot of people. And to be honest, for a lot of them, I think this will be the way to do basically go, look, buy a pre built. That'll sort your issues. Yeah, you're paying probably double to a console. Fair enough. I can kind of get that. But that's if you're wanting like top tier stuff. As he said, this is some of the top stuff. You want that, you pay like
the fact that that's the
1,000,
price it's at
nearly
now as
2,000.
well,
Yeah.
like, it's quite cheap in comparison to what it used to be.
Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. You could still pay easily 2 to 3 grand on a PC to get the top of the line. Uh, to the get the top of the top, but you don't need
Pretty
to.
close though for only a grand.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty decent. You'll not have to upgrade for like 5, 10 years. You'll be fine for a long while. But yeah, I think it's something for a lot of people to pay attention to as time goes on. To be honest with you, and it's something, yeah, I do like to ignore, but it's true. It is right.
It is a great starting place though.
It is, and I do think more people should look into it because yeah, it's a bit more money, but what you get out of it is more than you'll ever realize. And for a lot of people, it's the start to a very dangerous path of money and debt.
It's
I mean,
easier
what?
though because you can learn the software first instead
Yeah,
of having to learn both at once. You can learn like how to utilize your system, what it's going to do,
100% you
and
can.
then also just learn how to open up your PC and clean it and change things out whenever you eventually do that. It just
Oh
makes
yeah.
things easier
Do
and
remember
slightly less
telling you to do
complicated.
your first fucking cleanup. That was fun.
Mm,
Do we not talk about that, Will?
no, no.
And if you have a local IT friend, just grab him. If they say no, just say, well,
Just
this
harass them.
random. Yeah, just harass him. That's what all my friends do to me. I'm the IT guy for my friend group, and they all just fucking harass me until I help them. And if I don't help them after the harassing, then,
He doesn't get a
well,
choice.
yeah, I really don't.
He likes
It's
to
good.
think that he does, but we just make him think that so he's happier.
I'm never happy. You know this.
All right, so he's not as sad. Yeah.
There you go. That's better.
Poor choice of words.
But anyways, I think that's everything that we needed to cover this week. It's been an interesting episode. A few different
Indeed.
changes compared to normal. Apple, just please,
Just stop, man. Just
yeah,
stop.
stop while you've got a choice, please.
They're so bad. You have to pay
Yeah,
for everything. It's just so much money.
I'll be honest, Apple. If you really want to like prove us otherwise, if we ever actually got big enough, and they actually saw this, just send us some tickets. We'll come and fucking evaluate them. Tell us the games that you'll be testing ahead of time. We'll get genuine FPS averages on our builds. Then we'd come across and test. I'd say that'd be fair.
And I think I might have to bury you the day that happens, because dear God, the things you're going to start.
I don't think you'd have to bury me. I think you'd also start swearing and saying a lot of offensive things as well.
I'd bury you and then be like, "Oh, sorry, I can't come. Roy's taking sick, and I can't really go without him. You know, he is my partner in partner in the yeah."
In this channel, yeah.
Cough, cough.
Yeah, something like that. But anyways, with all that said and done, I think we're all sorted. So, Will, is there anything you'd like to say before we end it?
Don't be ashamed to start with a pre-built.
Yeah, that's a very good ending. So, yeah,
It's like
okay.
7 years later, and I still have a pre-built.
He does, but to be honest,
Customized, but
it's
it
like
started as a pre-built.
90% different.
Yeah. I
I
think
think
the
the
only
only
thing that's
thing
the same
left
is
is
the
the
motherboard.
case. I was thinking the case. So we've got the case and the motherboard. That's all that's remains.
Can't really change out the motherboard. It's a bit of a job.
Yeah, you replace the motherboard, you replace everything. That's
Yep.
the thing. If you ever get to the point with a pre-built that you need to replace the motherboard, that's the time you know, right, I need to build a PC. Because you've just hit that point.
That's the point I've gotten to with the specs I now have. Upgrading anything wouldn't really change much. Like at most I get like a slight increase in performance.
Exactly.
If I was to want to actually properly upgrade, I would definitely need to upgrade the motherboard, and at that point you just start fresh.
Yeah, you do.
So I'll get as much use as I can out of what I currently have, and when the time comes, I will buy Roy a plane ticket to come over and build me a PC with the specs that I bought. Just lock him
Honestly,
in a
that
room for
doesn't
a few
shock
hours.
me.
I'm not gonna be there for it, bro. I'm just gonna lock you in a room. Do some saw shit with your ass.
Excuse me? Some wording needs checking here.
Well, we'll find out if anybody watches to the end.
Anyways, thank you all very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please feel free to like, follow, subscribe, comment. We now have a text message situation on the audio side, which is interesting.
Hmm.
All that's good stuff, though. And join the Discord. That'd be great too.
Yes.
But it'd be
Yes,
interesting to start seeing this place actually grow a bit. But we've had it for like a year and a bit now. We've had it for a while, and
Yeah,
it's been nice and quiet.
it
But we
has.
want it to change slightly.
Definitely.
But anyways, thank you all for watching, and we will see you all next time. Bye for now, guys.
Have a good one, guys. See you next week.